Hi, friends. It's Miss Small. And Carl. He's relaxing on his favorite blanket. He loves this blanket so much. Well, my friends, today we're going to read a story. This is not the story we're going to read, but I want to remind you about this story because we've read this one before. It's called First Day Jitters. Do you remember this story? We read this story on the very first day of school. And then we talked about how we felt on the first day of school. So just to remind you, remember the girl, Sarah Hartman, she was in bed and she did not want to go to school. She was feeling so grumpy and scared because she was afraid that the kids were going to not treat her very nicely. And then her husband said, "No, the principal is going to be looking for you." My friends, remember it turns out that this girl is not a student. She was actually the teacher. The teacher was nervous and excited for her first day of school, just like you as the student were nervous and excited for your first day of school. So that was called First Day Jitters. Well, this book was written by Julie Danneberg. And my friends, now I have Last Day Blues. This book was about the first day of school, First Day Jitters. Last Day Blues is about the last day of school. It's the same teacher, Sarah J. Hartman. So, Carl and I are going to read this book to you. Last Day Blues. Excuse me, Carl. Last day. Now, their last day is June 21st, but our last day is June 9th. June 9th. Last Day Blues. Look, this looks like a school bus. And inside are the kids, and on the outside are the teachers, and they look so sad and they're crying. On Monday morning, before the Friday that was the last day of school, Mrs. Hartwell took attendance. She sighed as she called out the last name. "I'm going to miss you all," she said. The kids nodded in agreement. "I'm going to miss my friends," said Shannon. "I'm going to miss Daisy," said Dan. Who do you think Daisy is? The pet snake. "I'm going to miss chocolate milk and pizza for lunch," said Joe. Everyone felt a little blue thinking about the last day of school, even Daisy. Do you know what feeling blue means? Feeling blue means feeling a little bit sad. Oh, there's a playground just like ours. That afternoon during recess, the students talked as they hung out on the jungle gym. "Mrs. Hartwell said she's going to miss us," said Alexandra, swinging from a bar. "We should get a present to cheer her up," said Eddie, hanging upside down by his knees. But what could they get her? Let's listen to their ideas. I bet they have some good ideas. "I could give her the rest of my sandwich. It's my mom's bologna special," said Josh. "Or a coffee cup. Or a new pen, the kind with feathers and beads." The students thought and thought, but they couldn't come up with one single idea that they all agreed on. "We'll think of something tomorrow," Eddie assured everyone as they lined up at the drinking fountain. Oh my goodness, what's he doing? Don't do that. On the Tuesday before the Friday that was the last day of school, Mrs. Hartwell read the final page of their last read-aloud book. "I'm going to miss circle time," said Mrs. Hartwell. "I'm going to miss science," said Emily. "I'm going to miss seeing Mrs. Hartwell wear her safety goggles during science," said Jack, giggling. And so before they got too sad, Mrs. Hartwell put on her safety goggles one last time just for fun. They are funny. We definitely need to cheer up Mrs. Hartwell, said Andy during recess as he jumped out of a swing. Any ideas about a present? Eddie asked. Nope, they all answered back. On the Wednesday before the Friday that was the last day of school, Mrs. Hartwell brought in her super duper sugar cookies with extra frosting. Wow. I'm going to miss snack time and I can't wait for barbecues by the pool, said Jack. I'm going to miss recess, but I can't wait to play hide and seek outside after dinner, said Alexandra. That says, I'm going fishing. I'm going to the beach. Egypt, wow. I'll miss school, but I can't wait for summer vacation, said Josh. The class discussed their summer plans and drowned their last day blues with another round of milk and sugar cookies. That guy's got two. I don't know whether to be happy or sad today, Andy said the minute they all arrived at the jungle gym. Mrs. Hartwell is sad, said Olivia. She probably doesn't want the year to end. Look, she's at home. She's crying to her dog. This says lesson plans. That's where the teacher writes all her plans for the day in a book. Remember, I have a book like that at school. While we're swimming, she'll be reading her old lesson plans, said Walker. And while we're playing, she'll be trying to remember the fun times we had this year. Do you think that's what teachers do during the summer? And that's when an idea zip, zapped, and zinged through Eddie's brain. I know exactly what will cheer her up, Eddie said, jumping down from the jungle gym. The class agreed it was perfect. What do you think they're going to do? On the Thursday before the Friday that was the last day of school, Eddie raised his hand right after Mrs. Hartwell started language arts. We need some privacy, please, he said. Whoa, what are they making? Are they making a mural? Remember we read that book about a mural? A big painting. And so Mrs. Hartwell took down bulletin boards with her back to the class. She never even peeked. Well, only once. On the morning of the Friday that was the last day of school, the students dashed into the classroom. They snapped open the shades for the very last time. They did their chores for the very last time. What do you think his chore is? To water the plants, write the date, feed Daisy the snake, check the mail. I don't know what that is. As soon as the bell rang, they couldn't wait for Mrs. Hartwell to see her present for the first time. My goodness, what do you think it is? It's a giant letter! Oh, I surprised Carl. Sorry, Carl. Go back to bed. The last day of school makes us so blue. We'll miss recess and pizza and reading, too. We'll miss Daisy and cookies and friendships true, snack time and science and learning new. We'll miss spelling bees for our test review and groundhogs that play peekaboo. This year's been great, a big wahoo. There are many things to miss, it's true, but mostly what we'll miss is you. Aww, look, and they all drew a picture of their favorite things about kindergarten, just like we talked about last week. Remember? Here's all the teachers crying. Later on during recess, Eddie said, I think Mrs. Hartwell liked her present. I just hope it helps, Margaret said. Poor Mrs. Hartwell, they all said sadly as they pictured their final goodbye. Teachers must hate the last day of school. Oh, they're so sad. They're going to miss all their students. What are they going to do over the summer? When it was time, and then it was time, the bell rang. Goodbye, the students called as they rushed out the door. Goodbye, Mrs. Hartwell called after them. And then she returned to her empty classroom. "It's just you and me, Daisy," she said. "I'm sure going to miss them this summer." What? "But I can't wait for vacation." What are the teachers doing? They're not crying. What are they doing? Oh, look what the teacher's really doing during summer. She went kayaking to the beach and sleeping in a hammock with her cat Carl. All right, my friends, I hope you have a wonderful summer. I hope you do some of these things this summer, some of these super fun things. All right, thanks for reading with me. Say bye to Carl. Bye, Carl. Wake up. Wake up, Carl. He's very tired. All right. Bye.